Welcome, all comers, Republicans, Democrats, people of all ages, children. The welcome mat is out. You're in the meeting with me, Brian West, where it is my supreme duty to give you the top 8 headlines developing news stories. Big show today, a lot going on in the news. Like I said, it is my supreme duty to sum up everything, to give you some type of clarification, some type of knowledge, supreme knowledge from the most high above, giving me, the supreme mediator, giving to you. You see how it works? Message to message, news to news, information to information, right to you, the listener, so you will be informed, not being ignorant, but knowing what's happening around you. I'm here for everybody, the poor, the rich, the middle class, something for everybody. So you're in tune to the top 8 headlines developing news stories with me, Brian West. If you want to contribute during the show in any way, all you have to do is visit METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, method80.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something, or you could just sponsor a program. I'm in the office from 10 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. If you want to stop by and show the community some support, every contribution that is made at Method 8, whether it's services, all goes back into the community. I rarely see any retained earnings at the end of the year because it goes back into the business, into the structure of paying people residual income. I'm in it for the love of the game, for the public, for the people. Like I said, if you want to see the stories that almost made it to the media, or just wanted to just do some research on the stories that did, you can visit METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, method80.com, and check out the stories that almost made it. You can comment, do your thing, and do everything that you can. The mission of today's show is basically to figure out do we have a purpose on this planet? Is mankind in danger of losing our purpose of life, our purpose of being, and are we under attack by aliens, reptilian? I'm just kidding. But like I said, if you want to contribute anyway, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, method80.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. Let me read the disclaimer of the show. These top 8 stories are only documented for records and to highlight topics for those in the business of talk radio, talk media, and those who just want to stay informed. Now, folks, it's time to get to the top 8. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. Oh, I believe I can fly. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, story number 1. All eyes on those in the spotlight. Yes, in the spotlight. Folks, you have to ask yourselves, as a species of human beings, do we have a responsibility, a supreme duty to control our power, our special gifts, our divine gifts? This story number 1, all eyes on those in the spotlight, targets those in the spotlight with targets on their back. People like Donald Trump, Barack Obama, Ocasio-Cortez, Michael Jackson, Lil Bootsy, R. Kelly, Gayle King, anybody who you see on that tube constantly or in the constant circulation. These people are targets, folks, and there's some things that are happening. I mean, you've got Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots. When you're considered like it's not an idol, but somebody that people know a lot about, and you people know have a lot of things that when you're just there and everybody's hearing about you, when they see your name in the headlines, you're the top person they look at. But the thing is if you talk about equality, the question is are we all equal, or are we all just subjects on this planet, and are some of us still pawns? This is the biggest thing that's happening in the media right now. This is why story number 1, all eyes on those in the spotlight, is an interesting story, because of the fact that you have some key figures making the news, and they're making some points about not just anti-Semitism, presidential power. They're talking about prostitution. But folks, what we're looking at when you talk even the fact that there even some talk about little boys being molested by big time celebrities. So I came across this article, and it's amazing as a just being a man and having sisters and seeing how girls and boys mingle throughout our entire lives. I mean, just watching how we interact with each other. Some of us flirt. Some of us end up doing some things that we didn't think we would be doing. Some of us end up in positions. But folks, this spotlight story the reason why it's amazing is the fact that when you get people in high positions, the spotlight, they become not only just targets, but they become news. They become just not only just collateral, but they become just something that everybody can get something out of if they make a top headline, or they become, because the story lives on. There's something in the story, and there's some innocent, and there's some, but the fact is that there's something in the story when these people make the news. Like we just had the story about Robert Kraft and the prostitution ring, and there was a story that surfaced about how, I guess, the day spa that was tied into the one that Robert Kraft was visiting, they say that this woman attended Trump's Super Bowl party. So you're seeing a lot of connection with people in the spotlight. Then there was a story that surfaced about I guess a rep. I think her name is Ilhan Omar. She slammed Obama's message of hope and change. She said it was a mirage. Then we had a story surfaced about somebody, an R&B singer in the spotlight, R. Kelly. He basically lashing out over abuse allegations in an interview with Gayle King. Now these people are in the spotlight, folks. So some people are saying that if they weren't in the spotlight, these stories wouldn't matter. Then you have Ocasio-Cortez in the spotlight, Alexandria. They said that she's basically making denials of dark money allegations in an FEC complaint. Then we have the legacy of Michael Jackson, rest in peace. They say that his legacy is at stake because of some documentaries that have been surfacing. Then you even have they always then they have stories about Whitney Houston, and the question is, what led me into this amazing story is the fact that there's some rappers online, artists. Lil Boosie is basically summed it up in an interview on YouTube, saying that if these people were not in the spotlight, their stories would not matter. He says this stuff goes on. What you see when the story unfolds, like your daughter may be idolizing or may look up to some big time art. He's basically saying what is happening is once the veil of innocence is unfolded, you may find out some things that you didn't even know about a person that you admired growing up. He's basically been saying what's been going on in the entertainment industry and in the arena of the spotlight has been going on for a long time. And he's talking about women. He's saying how they have tons of beautiful women surrounding them, big time, all around. I mean, people just giving their daughters tickets to the concerts. So this is the center of attention in American news right now, is what happens on the real stage at real concerts, and people are coming out with stories. Not even just you talk about people like Russell Simmons. When you get in the spotlight, they're saying that the people flock to them, innocent girls, and then what amazes me is that there's even reverends in the mix. They're saying that women are attracted to reverends, men, and it's a big amazing story that is surfacing. It is all stemming from the war between the right and the left right now, and the Republicans are saying that these are democratically funded organizations. But folks, there's a lot coming out right now. There's a lot coming out, and I'm telling you, grab your legs and be prepared for a bumpy flight, folks. Because if you want to be nasty, you can call me Janet. But if you want to be real nasty, then you can call me the king of R&B. But there's some nasty stuff that happens every day in all of our lives. Nasty, folks. It is happening on a platform now where everybody is watching. You're glued to the TV set to see what's going to happen next. You don't know who's innocent, who's not. But the fact is that where there is power, there's a magnetic force that attracts all kinds of attention. And we're starting to see it. People saying that they were molested, women crying, presidents sitting in front of the Oval Office trying to. This is drama on another level. This is scandalism. This is the United States. Years and years of anxiety building up in the conscious mind. People believing that they're the man, and finding out that everything that they thought they believed is something else. There's something going on in the news. There's something going on in the public eye right now where there's a seesaw battle between right and wrongs, justice and innocence happening. And that's why story number 1 may gain some steam. All lies on those in the spotlight. There's even stories surfacing about Tupac's murder, Biggie's murder, the fact that there's been Illuminati cults, all types of gangs and skull and bones and the intellect and the dumb and the blind, giving sight to the. This is what I'm here to give you, folks, as the mediator. Is I'm trying to give you sight so you can understand what's happening, keeping you informed, understanding what's happening in the news. But story number 1, when you talk about people in the spotlight, even the Pope is under the radar, and somebody is waiting in the winds for someone to come and rescue us from the clouds. Some being to come take us all into the heavens, believing that this is the destiny of man, that we're all innocent. No, folks, we're not all innocent, and that what you will, and this is what you will find as we get deeper and deeper into the top 8 stories that made it into the media this week. If you want to contribute in any way, you're in the media with me, Brian West. All you have to do is visit method8inc.com. I try not to gossip. I try to just navigate the news, finding out the stories that are most important and that may affect you, that you may need to be informed about. We all have children. We all have family and friends that we have to let go off into the world, into the jungle. And we have to believe that they're going to come back in the right state of mind. But that's what the news is for, to keep you informed. It's not to hurt you. There's good news and there's bad news, but it's up to you as the person to decipher the difference and to filter out what can be done. That's why I'm here, to give you stories that you can understand, the top stories, so you can get an understanding of how human beings interact and how we can be forgiven and find a happy ending in all of the madness. There are some amazing stories happening, but the fact is you have to keep fighting the fight. You have to get up every morning and believe that if they can't make a difference, then maybe you can make a difference. You're in the mediator with me, Brian West. If you want to contribute anyway, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, method8.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. And we're headed into story number 2. Like I said, if you want to contribute anyway, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something, or just sponsor a program if you want to help me out in any way. Now it's time to get to story number 2. Folks, we're just reaching the tip. Story number 2, headline number 2, justice, child support, women, men, and children. Oh boy. Folks, there are some things happening that when you talk about justice, people talk about justice, they talk about law, they talk about just legal. And not too long ago, my sister, she gave me a call and she said she was talking about her boyfriend, and she was talking about marriage and why does a woman have to get legally married to a man, and then they have to break up, and then I explained to her about law. I said, well, sister, I'm not gonna mention her name. And she says, I said, when you become mingle with somebody and you share that what they call it, the gifts of love, the sex, the flavor of life, the oozings of chemistry inside the brain, and everybody's all cuddled up, and the roses start coming out. Something happens, and there's a spiritual connection that becomes evident as your friends and family watch you embrace the happiness of finding a mate, somebody who you could spend the rest of your life with, somebody who you could grow with and learn. The evidence of the divine, supreme rulers giving us all a gift of love. But when that bond is broken, folks, some things happen. Child support, vengeance, burning of houses, the violence of man, the wrath of man, shootings, bloodshed. This is what happens when that bond is broken. And the children They sit there and they wonder, is mommy and daddy ever going to be on an even ball play? And they become victims. I tell you, mediation is tough. They say it in some of these stories. When you talk about love of job, love of family, love of coworker, these bonds are being broken. There were some stories that surfaced about a woman who was fired over the phone while she was in labor, and she's still fighting to get her job back. When you talk about love for job, when you talk about love in relationships, folks, there is a reality setting in that this negative energy is spewing up in America, and the roots of it is stemming from the people who make the laws and who make the laws so we can get along and try to live amongst each other. Women are being murdered. Families are being broken up because of the concept of law and justice. Listen to what I'm saying here, folks, because these stories that make it into the top 8 are not meant to hurt you. They're only meant to give you some insight on the reality of the situation. Folks, we have families who a woman could be with a man for 20 years, 20 or so years, maybe even shorter than that. They can have children. She can leave this man, make him pay child support. He has nothing to support himself. He could be at the bottom of the food chain, getting spit on, while she is living it up, not even paying the child support on the children. She could be spending it on herself. There's no oversight in this ball game. The judge may give the man visitation rights, but other than that, he has been almost castrated. This is a reality that started to take place, and you wonder why these groups are popping up, these hate groups, and you wonder how war is created, why people rebel against the system, why innocence will always try to prove itself innocent, even in the fate of being jailed for 20 years and finding out that they're innocent. Folks, there's something happening, brewing up not only in the media, but it's called justice. People are fighting. And they're constantly fighting for the proof of not only just their history, but their legacy. It is happening. It wasn't just a story number 1, but it's a story number 2. There's even influence going on in some of the laws that are being passed. When you find out people who have been hurt by the system, some of these people are so scarred that they start running for office, or they start influencing congressional leaders. Yes, they're called lobbyists. There's a story about a son of a smuggler, Pablo Escobar, who was basically turning members of Congress onto supporting legal pot. And this is how they're saying that this is how this whole story of legalizing marijuana surfaced, because of somebody whose father passed away. I guess he was a smuggler for Pablo Escobar, and they're saying that he was entertained by the fact that his father was using medical marijuana to survive cancer. Well, that wasn't medical marijuana at the time, but marijuana. So these stories, folks, are surfacing, and they're gaining some traction. There's even when you talk about men and women and all of this stuff, there's even a story about an Arizona GOP senator, Martha McSally. She says that she was preyed upon and raped while in the Air Force by a superior officer. Folks, there's some things happening in the news. I'm telling you, you have to keep a close eye on these stories. They're popping up, and they're changing our way of living right now, because people are writing laws. And there's a lot of laws that are taking full center stage right now. In the next 10 years, this country may look a lot different because of the administration, the people who are trying to write laws right now. There's even there was a headline that surfaced about a Florida man who tried to drown his toddler in a swimming pool. Folks, if you cannot tell me that there's not something happening in the atmosphere when you talk about people wanting a clean slate and what they will do, or just why these people are doing what they're doing, even or what you call premeditated murders, all this stuff is happening full scale. We're getting full access to it in the news, and it's happening. Women now getting out of the commercial sex industry for other women who basically, these women who have been in the sex industry, the commercial sex industry, are trying to get other women who are stuck in, who have been in since children. They're trying to get them out. And even there's even a story about a man setting fire to Planned Parenthood, a Planned Parenthood clinic. Folks, there is some people are taking justice into their own hands, and when they're getting scarred, they're putting up a fight. And this is what's happening right now in democracy. People are putting up a fight. And this, when you talk about civility and you talk about people who have been scarred, people who have been victims, when you smack these people around, they are going out and they're saying they have nothing to lose. Women are running for seats in Congress because they have been brutalized by some men. Folks, it's happening. When you see people on TV, the kings of pop, kings of R&B, constantly in the spotlight, the president of the United States, and they're saying that involvement with prostitution scandals and scandals and scandals, folks, it is catching people's attention. And people are starting to say, if there's going to be a change, then there's something that's got to something has got to change, and I'm telling you, things are surfacing. And I think one of the actors, one of the girls who submitted a movie or a play, it was a play at first, she came up with a title. She said the title will be something like Enough of all of it. And I'm not going to give the full title, but it's got something to do with just enough. People are just saying that's it. Something is happening, and people are just trying to find some truth, some feeling in life. And I guess that's what's happening as story number 1 and 2 surface. We're almost at the halfway point. If you want to contribute anyway, I'm all calmed down now. I'm starting to get my wings back. Just got a little pumped up there for a second. Sometimes these stories can be overwhelming, take you down, but you got to rise up in the morning and sing a song. Oh yeah, I believe I can fly. Woo! If you want to contribute anyway, METHOD, the number 8IC.com, methodad.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. You're in the media with me, Brian West, where it's my supreme duty. I was formulated as a child, formulated by the gods, one supreme God in heaven. He gave me divine instinct, divine power to mediate between the man and the heavens, the people on earth. I'm not better than anybody. I can be called a victim too, but I'm telling you, I learned from my mistakes, and I'm teaching, breaking bread with the masses, giving us all wisdom and knowledge so we can grow off and learn off of. You're in the media with me, Brian West. If you want to be a part anyway, contribute. All you have to do is visit www.method, the number 8inc.com. Buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. Not tough at all, not hard. Doesn't take much. Like I said, you're in the media with me, Brian West, or you can just sponsor a program. Let's get to story number 3. Story number 3. Egypt, Islam, Jews, Christianity. What's the fight all about? What's really going on under the rug? Folks, if you don't understand your religious, or you don't understand the religious war, or if you don't understand what they're talking about, anti-Semitism, if you don't understand Farrakhan, sometimes you may hear these people giving speeches and you may wonder, where is this intellect coming from? Where are they getting their information? Folks, there's an underground war going on about truth and where all this stems from. If you're not well read, you're not well versed, you may be Bible literate, but you do not know where it all comes from, I encourage you to do a little bit of research. There's a lot of Egyptian mythology, Egyptian what they would say culture that has been spread, covered up, redone, repackaged, and is still circulating the earth right now. And there's a fight because of people saying the origins of all faith come from somewhere, and if it did come from Egypt, then where did it come from? So folks, there is when you hear these representatives like I believe it's, if I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Ilhan Omar, when she was basically making some comments about Israel and comments about anti-Semitism, and she's faced with some calls to be removed from the committee. Folks, you have to ask yourself, where whenever you hear something spurring up in a debate, like you could be at a Christmas table, and you may hear a child who's been going to college, who's been Baptist for her entire life. She may be sitting at the table with her family, and they may be talking about Jesus. And then you may hear this child say, something different, something off course, and the mother may not understand what this child is talking about. Folks, there's something going on between the scholars and the academics right now and the average Joe. So this, I'm telling you, this story is important because it's gaining. When you talk about hate groups rising, there is a reason for this, because this has been going on throughout all of mankind. And there are groups of people who start to dibble and dabble in the secrets of life, the secrets of mankind, the secrets of the foundations of religions, and they start to dibble and dabble in Egyptology, and they start finding out their way of living, and you can start seeing the artifacts and how they spread throughout the whole globe to create some of the world's most prevalent religions. And some people know about this when you see, like, let me give you an example. If you see symbols on TV like rap artists throwing up the diamond signs, or pyramids, the triangle, or you hear people talking about the Holy Trinity, folks, these all stem from somewhere. It is starting to create some discussion in certain circles, and it's mainly happening in America. And there's an underground war of truth between not just races, but people of different cultures who understand, or who are well versed on a lot of these truths or histories. And they're saying that there's a lot of lies out there. And they're not only using the congressional floor as a platform, but they're using the media as a platform to try to spread truth. So the fact is where did all these religions come from? Where does the belief and that we hold dear to us, where does the fact of people believing that some religions are pagan religions, or folks, this is, or you may even take it as far back as why were crosses being burned in people's front yards. Folks, there's something happening when you talk about the identity of not just faith, but what people believe. And it's taking a center stage on what is the right way for people to live. Now, you have all of this evidence from the past. Some of the history was even burned when you talk about the Dark Ages, when you talk about when Egypt was overcome, when it was infiltrated, and now we're at today, where people are finding out or tracking the artifacts, and they're finding ways to release information. They're using YouTube. They're even getting in Congress. And the amazing thing is that people are saying this is a right and left battle, folks. If you think that this new generation of not just congressional people, but these people are very smart, and they have a lot of people in their circle who can not only just lobby, but there's one thing at stake in all of this, and that's the fact that there is a democracy that was made for and by the people, which is not a democracy ruled by communism or dictatorship, but for the people. And this is what the real story is really about. Is this truth? There's nothing, it's in the Constitution of freedom of religion. We're all free to worship, and that's why it's there. But the thing is that you cannot infringe your own beliefs on people who have the right to believe whatever they want to believe. And that's why some of these stories are surfacing, like a Utah teacher forcing a student to wash off an Ash Wednesday cross off her forehead. French cardinals covering up pedophilia, pedophile accusations against priests. These stories are surfacing. Portland giving atheists civil rights protections against discrimination. University deans resigning from a school that banned Chick-fil-A because he said he's devoted to Christianity. Folks, if you hear these topics popping up in the media when you talk about religion, this is why. And but the thing is that we're protected because we have the right to believe what we want in this country, and that's what makes this country special. That's what makes it special. You cannot be beheaded because of your belief. You have the right to believe what you want to believe. You could go around all day. That's why I was raised Baptist. I was raised Christianity. I believe that we all are here for a reason. I'm not going to hurt my fellow man. I want to give you something beneficial. I want to educate you. I'm not here to take advantage of you. That's my supreme duty as a being, is to try to create peace amongst brethren. And that's why I'm telling you, these stories that surface, you have to keep an eye on, because your kids are involved. If you've raised your children to believe in the Bible, that's what they want to believe. If they want to believe something else after they get 18, need, then that's the greatness of a democracy. That's the greatness of living in America. And if you want to contribute anyway, if you want to help me out, all you have to do is visit METHOD, the number 8 INC.com, method80.com, where it is my supreme duty to give you the top 8 headlines developing news stories that made it throughout the week. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm just here to give you what you need. A little bit of love mixed with a little bit of mediation. What did Charlie Staples say? A cup of love and mediation. Don't you feel the breath, the exhaling of knowledge seeping into your loins, getting into your brain? And it's not only increasing the libido of man, but it's giving you insight. When I tickle the brain with knowledge, it's great, because it's what you've been starving for. It's what you want. And that's what I'm here for. If you want to be a part of it, all you have to do is visit METHOD, the number 8 INC.com, method80.com, buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. There's love on radio. Lots of love. And if it ain't me giving it to you, it may be some other radio host. But I don't want you to defy the laws of gravity with hate, folks. I want you to be informed, and I want to give you what you need, and that's a taste of mediation. Let's get to story number 4. Like I said, if you want to contribute anyway, METHOD, the number 8 INC.com, method80.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. I'm researching, navigating the news for you, baby. I love you. Woo! We can grow together. I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it. Story number 4 is the fact that we still don't know enough about the earth catching up to us. There was you get a lot of people just loving the fact that they can tell people that the end of the world is coming, and it's the end of the world as we know it, giving you all of these fashions of telling you that fear. But there was a giant glory hole that swallowed up California. I guess a duck in California. It was a sinkhhole that just developed. There's a treasure trove of new insects being discovered on an island as we know it. And there's also terrifying new spiders that are being discovered in Australia. There's also some evidence of bird extinctions driven by the global food trade. Folks, the reason why this is so important is because the reason why story number 4 is so important is because there are still things about this world that we don't know. People talk about the Bermuda Triangle. They talk about lands that have yet to be discovered. And if you don't understand my reasoning with this story is the fact that some people once upon a time believed that the Earth was actually flat, and the fact that there's evidence that we have traveled to the moon. Some people refuse to still believe it. So these stories are surfacing when you have the battle of ideas and the battle of thinking, the battle of thought and intellect. They're surfacing every day. Sometimes you could hear that a circle is a circle, but a circle could actually be an oval. It could be a spear. Some people have all different types of opinions, but they're starting to take center stage because of the fact that it's affecting the way people are being trained, and people are training people. They're talking about the planets and the destinies of the universe is far beyond our thought, and they're captivating audiences, and they're gaining a lot of attention. And some of these people are rebuking the fundamentals of life, meaning the fundamentals of nature, the fact that that woman was put on earth to assist man. So all of these ideas are affecting the way we live. It's affecting our cultures. It's affecting governing bodies. It really is the meat of where we're going with these top 8 stories, and that's why story number 4 is gaining some steam. Is the fact that there are things about this earth that we still have yet to discover. I mean, people still are battling with the concept of gravity. There's still questions that can't be answered. Physics and scientists still cannot answer some of the laws of the universe, like why does the earth spin on its axis, or is the earth actually rotating the sun, or is the sun actually rotating around the earth? So all of these questions, when you talk about, are we just inside of an atom? Are we just inside of God? Is the earth eternal? Is life eternal? These questions are spurring up, and it's creating a lot of different thought, a lot of different intellect. Even when you talk about plants, and why does the Bible say that some plants we were not supposed to eat off of, but people constantly take pain pills and medications all the time? And so why do some people believe that they're superior to other people? Or why do some men beat their wives? Why do these things happen? And people are finding some types of answers, but they're trying to to get a grasp on it, and some people are just saying we just have to coexist as beings and try to live amongst each other without violence. But it's creating a world of thought, and people are trying to create some type of direction for mankind to take, and it's really changing our course of thinking. It's affecting policy because like I've always told some people, people are going to do what they want to do. You could smack a child. Once that child is curious, they're going to try to get into that, to figure out what's powering up that vacuum cleaner. Story number 5, real quick. If you want to contribute anyway, you're in the media with me, Brian West, where is my supreme duty to give you the top 8 stories, the top 8 developing news stories, top 8 headlines developing news stories. If you want to contribute, all you have to do is visit METHOD, the number 8 INC.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. Let's get to story number 5. Money wars, banks, payday lenders, apps, and the help. So who's going to help us? Folks, the whole purpose of today's show is to get you to understand the course that we're taking when it comes to normal human behavior, normal activity, normal human thought, mother, father, cousin, child, these things, purpose of living. But they're talking about now banning some cashless businesses in Philadelphia because of the fact that it's affecting the poor. And we have to ask ourselves, is the world only made for the rich? Or is the air that we breathe made for everybody? Are there really a reptilian being that wants to destroy all that we do, all that God, somebody, has given us in this earth? There's actually an election campaign. I guess it's a bill that finance overhaul. They're even talking about trying to see where nonprofits are getting their large donorship from. They're talking about rehauling the whole system. When you talk about there's even a story that surfaced that was blaming China's tariffs on job losses in Ohio. Northeast Ohio has been riddled by some new force that has just made GM skip town, hospitals shut down, and the fact that people are becoming anti-union. Folks, this is a reality. U.S. women's soccer team, when you talk about money wars, they're filing gender discrimination laws saying that they want to be paid equally, just like the males. Folks, there is some real deal stuff going on. Even the fact that the Supreme Court has now ruled that the World Bank can be sued. Yes, this is UN rights chief warns of threats from inequality. Trade deficit is getting wider. A bill raising federal minimum wage to $15 an hour heads to the U.S. House floor. Paid family leave gains momentum in states as bipartisan support grows. Folks, there is something happening on a global scale when you talk about money. And it's heading, and even when they're talking about how federal disaster money, they're talking about how it may have been favoring the rich. Claims that universal basic income could be. There's a guy, Andrew Yang, who's making accusations that universal basic income could be affordable, and he's basically saying that because of the fact that robots and software and artificial intelligence are destroying tons of jobs, almost 4 million, he's saying that people should get a paycheck from the government because of the fact that they don't have any means to work. Folks, where are we when you look at this? Mankind was put here for each other, for you and me. And for women were put here so we can be fruitful and multiply. Listen to what these people are saying. They're saying that we all should just sit around. You don't use our brain. Sit around and play ping pong games all day without using our own intellect. When you talk about the level of the way people are thinking now, years ago, children would go out and play. You find a girlfriend, you maybe marry her. Now you got brothers hanging out with Jezebels, leaving their entire family, going out to the juke joint. Enough booty just shaking everywhere. Just not enough. It's never enough. Leaving their entire families for a little juke jang. Jiggly-Jew. This is a reality. But that's what I'm here for. as a mediator. I'm here to give you insight so you can see, so you won't be blinded. Look at your children, your family. You're leaving them just to satisfy the beast. R. Kelly's life will never be the same. All of those women, sitting on TV talking to Gail and explaining the fundamentals of living and trying to be with his children, and then this explosion. Mediation is tough, folks. But somebody's got to do it. I believe it. I still believe that I can fly. That was a great song. But we can't let it be tainted by the woes of the king of R&B's concubines. Folks, these rules of living have been going on for years. Some people fall into the trap of insanity. Tons of women with flavorful colors and all types of taste all around you, ready to give you the vibes of life. And all it does is last for a few seconds and then it's over. I tell you, there's something great happening in mediation. We're starting to see some revelation. Can this man be saved? Gayle King, beautiful woman, I tell you. Spilling her guts out on the interview floor, I tell you, it was exciting. It was good to watch, but is it reality, folks? Is it what we want, what we're here for? No. We're here for something greater. We're here to get along with one another and to learn from our mistakes. And that's why I've made it upon myself to give you the top 8 headlines developing news stories every week to help you from the payday lenders and the money wars, so you won't become a victim of not only gentrification, but you'll be scarred by the rich as they come into town with their factories, getting you all excited with their $20 an hour jobs, and then the next thing you know, you don't have enough intellect and knowledge to feed your family once they leave. Folks, it's happening on a full scale. They're leaving mankind, leaving us to the woes of our own selves, coming in, grabbing up all of the money, tainting the air for us to breathe, making policies, manipulating congressional law. Folks, this is really happening. Leaving unions devastated. They're blaming it on the people who made the rights for the workers. It's frightening, folks. It's frightening. And it's sad. Because if you want to talk about making America great again, if you want to talk about yes we can, or change that we can believe in, then you've got to go to the root of the matter, which is the fundamentals of living. Fundamentals of living. If you want to contribute anyway, METHOD, the number, INC.com, you're in the meeting with me, Brian West. I won't fail you. I'm holding on. I'm holding on to you. Well, I can save you. I'm starting to get my wings. I can fly. Woo! If you want to contribute anyway, METHOD, the number, INC.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. There's a purpose for mediation. There's a purpose for me. Purpose for me giving you the understanding of life. Understanding of why human beings, why we get so filled with ourselves, filled with our knowledge, and we forget about the fundamentals, folks. I love you. I'm not afraid to love. I'm not afraid to get in the shower on a Sunday morning and sing a song. I believe in you and me. You know, I feel it, baby. And I'm feeling it for you. If you want to contribute anyway, before we get to the final 2 top stories that made it in, all you have to do is visit METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, methodating.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. If Jordan could hit the game-winning shot, then baby, I'm telling you, I can give you what you need, the information, the news. Let's get to story number 6 before the money runs out. Labor laws, unions, and the fight for the middle class. Folks, here's a story that actually surfaced about a woman. She was worked to the bone, and she was fired for getting cancer. Folks, these stories surface every day. And they're swept under the rug. But people do get fired for getting cancer. They cannot meet the corporate, or they cannot meet the workroom, or just the workroom atmosphere. They can't do it. And sometimes you get a supervisor or a boss who sticks by their side, but the money, the way the system is designed, it's tough. It really is. And you could give 20 so odd years to the job, and you may get infected, and you may not know why. And it's sad, but the way the system is structured, sometimes people become in the crosshairs. And the fact that when you're caught in the battle, what's actually taking place, the fact that the last Chevrolet Cruze was built on Wednesday, this Chevy factory, the Cruze factory was. I mean, nobody thought they'd ever said would ever see the steel mills leave and GM leaving the area, but it's happening. And there's missions. I mean, labor unions have been fighting for years to give the workers some type of a right, some type of a life, and sometimes they fail, and they sue, and they fight, and some people are blaming them for the woes, not knowing that these are the same people that, I mean, when you look at the Great Depression, was losing their life. I mean, we talk about the Civil Rights Movement history, the history of the United States. Most of the laws that we see today protecting workers are at stake. The labor unions may be getting a new mission, folks. And it may not be about just money, but it may just be saving mankind in general from these high-powered intellects, these people who creating robots to replace human beings. Talking about just giving them a paycheck with not even using their brains. Folks, this is reality. It is happening. When you see, and the people, they're saying that the fact that GM is leaving Northeast Ohio, that's going to be almost $1 billion-something, through, I think, $3 billion. Let's get to the top two stories that made it real quick. If you want to contribute anyway, you're in the meeting with me, Brother West. All you have to do is visit METHOD, Method.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something, or just sponsor a program. Story number 7, health, and why many are choosing alternate methods to heal. Some people use the faith to heal. Some people go back to the fundamentals, and that's basically just eating natural foods. There's even they're talking about there's a new hardcore treatment for HIV that could be the cure, but they're saying that it's probably far away from the cure. But they're tampering even with this new CRISPR things that is altering genes. Folks, science has reached just a whole different level, and it's affecting all of our lives every day. There's some when you talk about people with wealth and money, some of them just have so much money that they just I guess they just don't know what to do with it. I can't explain it. But there's a lot coming out, and people think that I mean, when you look at just across the world and our purpose as human beings, is it really just to be here, shrivel up and die, or do we have a divine just purpose from the gods in heaven to keep each other alive, to keep each other encouraged, and to find fundamental ways to treat. Some actually hospital facilities are going back to that fundamental ways, like yoga and getting people into the gym, eating natural foods, changing your diet. There was a boy that was never vaccinated. He racked up over 800,000 G's in medical bills after a tetanus, I guess, was required. I guess he had it was something going on, but he racked up 800,000 in hospital bills because he never was vaccinated. So he had to stay in hospital for 57 days and I guess he had to get a tetanus shot on it. But this is what's happening. A 5-year-old girl dies after a doctor misdiagnosed her with appendicitis as gastric infection. And the fact is that there's analysts right now zooming in on cheaper health costs. You have people like Bernie Sanders. Politics are putting that at the front of their agenda. Folks, there's some reality, I'm telling you, setting in right now. And people are starting to get the picture. People are starting to wake up. And it's starting to trickle down of knowledge. And would you start to figure out your self-worth? And some people, they look at their family and they think that life is greener, the grass is greener on the other side. But the fact is that if you do take time to read and gather some knowledge and understand what you can do to benefit the people around you, instead of always making enemies or harming the people or trying to get over on people, there is a better way to live. And it really is. And people are trying to find that better way. So people they're starting to read their Bibles on their own. So people are starting to find their religious belief just by just going out and finding a new hobby. So people are just finding new things to do. And there's always something to discover in this world. That's why I say you shouldn't be too You shouldn't be getting depressed, but you should be trying to find something more to discover. If you don't have the money, go to the library. There's all different types of things to dibble and dabble in. And this is what may save this country, is the fundamentals. Let's get to this top story. If you want to contribute anywhere, you're at the meeting of me, Brian Westward. It's my supreme duty to give you the top 8 headlines developing news stories that made it throughout the week. I can give you a thrill. We can go on a roller coaster ride, but there's some evidence of truth. And if I can't keep you informed, then I ain't doing my job. But if you want to contribute anyway, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, method8inc.com, where I go through over 50 to 200 stories a week, constantly just tackling the news, tackling stories, trying to find something for you, to give you something, because I care. Let's get to story number 8. Does the dress code have anything to do with our behavior? The reason why this story is so amazing is the fact that there was some some story surfacing about fashion in the United States and how fashion has changed from they're saying how it's went from just supreme modesty to what we see today, to a lot of cleavage. And they were talking about how some plus size models were being treated at a Miami club, and they were talking about how they were saying like no fat people are allowed and stuff like that. And there's just some things happening in the circle, and it's very interesting how these stories are surfacing and how they relate to just the normal laws of just ethical thinking and just the way we think as human beings. There was a fashion statement about a woman. She was wearing a cutout pants, and it got a lot of attention on Twitter. I mean, the woman had all of her just legs, just curves were just showing. And it's there when you talk about National Women's Day, a lot of women, especially women who are in high power positions, are catching on to how this is affecting just women's lives, why they're getting raped, why they're getting stalked, why there's so much strife, and most of these stories that most of the problems that you see when it comes to women and males not being able to coexist stem from attraction, the natural laws of attraction. And I talked about R. Kelly and some of the other stories, some of the other people in the spot like Donald Trump, and why these people are so captivated by beautiful women, and why these beautiful women are always so attracted to just all types of women. All types of women being just starting to, they're attracted to certain things, and it's creating just men as well. I mean, men are no different from some. We may have different things on our body, but we're all attracted to certain things. There was also a bride who considered barring her friend from her bridal party for having massive boobies. So, folks, this is a reality. There was a woman who placed her dog online. She showed her dogs the way it was dressing. She was highlighting the sizes of some of the clothes that are being designed. So those are the top 8 stories, folks, and it was a thrill. Let's get to some stories that made it locally. Mahoning property taxpayers may have paid twice. State APA is delaying loans to Youngstown. Region will take a $3 billion hit from GM idling of Lordstown. And Mike DeWine wants to increase funding for children's services. 10 million student housing complex being built near YSU. Folks, those are the top 8 headlines developing stories that made it throughout the week. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in. It was a roller coaster ride, but we got through it. And the main thing is just to keep an eye on what could benefit you. To try to, they say that there's simple ways to live life, but if you don't learn the fundamentals, then you may not understand how the behind the back path was invented. You got to learn the fundamentals first, and then maybe you could drive, maybe you could walk, and maybe you could crawl. If you want to contribute in any way during the week, or just you want to check out the stories, all you have to do is visit METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, method8inc.com. If you want to help us out, all you have to do is buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an amazing week. Still lots of news out there, lots of stories to be discovered, lots of land, lots of opportunity, lots of reasoning. But the worst thing we could do is hate each other. The worst thing we could do is blame each other for the woes of all mankind. But to heartily forgive a person, to heartily coexist as human beings, we first have to understand the fundamentals of living. And the fundamentals of living are all based off love, which we all want, which we all need, which we all desire, folks. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be loved. There's nothing wrong with wanting to show some love. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to fight for love. But if it's causing too much hate, then leave it alone, folks. Leave it alone for a few days. And I can promise you, I can guarantee you, I can give you a certified letter telling you that love will come back, baby. Thank you for tuning to the meeting with me, Brian West. Have a good week, everybody. I am out. Out.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The mediator is here.